Hi, I'm Jasmine. Welcome back. And if you're new here, welcome. Today, I wanted to show you what my brain does while I play. Grab something delicious to drink because I'm taking you with me while I figure out this story in real time. This is Floretta Broccoli. I always like starting my gameplay with getting out into the world and meeting new people. So I started out with taking Floretta to the local museum where she has met these two gentlemen and had a little bit of a chit chat. But really at the beginning of any sort of legacy challenge, which if you haven't caught on quite yet, this is the Very Veggie Legacy Challenge by Little Simsy. You can use an already structured legacy challenge to help you get your story started. You can just make it whatever you want to make it. This is me playing and making it whatever we want to make it. Ian Robles just hanging out with us, doing some fishing. We are collecting resources because whenever I start a legacy challenge, I start with $0, and that means gathering resources, which she was doing some harvesting and got this moodlet hangnail. Oh, well, that is so appropriate. She is high maintenance. No wonder she doesn't like gardening. And then she stands there, says forbidden words. And I loved that little moment that you can make into a story, right? So I immediately decided that this is not a gardening girl. Too high maintenance to get your nails dirty, girl. Floretta is hanging out at the Science Museum getting a little bite to eat before she goes back home. I really appreciate exploring the neighborhood. So I actually do set up a few lots in the beginning. So this is New Crust, and I decided that I wanted to kind of set up specific lots here so that we would have a fun and cool world to go explore. Here at the very beginning, we have the Garden Collective, which I thought would be really cool because I was thinking maybe Floretta would be into gardening, but apparently she's not. Next door, we have like a little bit more fancy restaurant, La Café Vegetal. I thought that would be kind of a fun story maker because, you know, we could go to dates there. And then right next door to the restaurant, we have a Cliff Park, which is kind of more urban. We can go and hang out with Sims, just like fun activities. At the very end, we have Crest Plaza, which is actually a cafe, but it's more than a cafe. There's so many other cool things to do there. Then up at the very top, we have the Museum of Science, which we were just at. I just added a couple of families into our neighborhood. There are quite a few still open lots to fill. I think it's fun to kind of leave those open so you can put things in your world as your story develops and make things a little bit more realistic and a little bit more engaging for you to play with your sim in the world. Here's a little overview of all of them kind of more in detail. And you know, honestly, this really didn't take a lot of time. I just plopped them in from the gallery and I was like, these are cool. I like these. Let's use them. And here we are. So anyway, we're back and I really wanted Floretta to focus on doing the cross stitch. And if you're not familiar with the Very Veggie Challenge, there's a few rules that go into that. One of them being that you have to master 3 different skills and one of them has to be wellness. And you also have to have a small business. My storyline for Floretta is that she is going to be a fabulous cross stitcher and she will be selling her creations, and I would love to just have a wall of all of the cross stitch hoops. I think that would be so much fun. That is going to be our goal, is to have a cute little cross stitch store. That was hard to get out. Since I don't have much on my home lot, I do have to go out into the world to fulfill my needs, using the bathroom, getting something to eat. And just when I had gone to the cafe lot to fill some of those needs, Ian calls me and asks me if I want to go to the lounge. And I'm like, yes, let's go to the lounge. This is a perfect opportunity to kind of see what Floretta is about and like, why is Ian keep calling her? Awkward. Well, upon arriving, Thorn Bailey is immediately here, which is so advantageous because guess what? We can get a signed autograph. Boom, money in the bank. Every opportunity to make that simoleon, you take it. I oftentimes like to just let my Sims kind of run free through and do whatever they want to do autonomously. Ian and Floretta are chit-chatting again. She is getting the vibe that he's kind of a little bit of a strange one. Maybe is, you know, kind of trying to flirt with her, but it's just not going anywhere. In the meantime, we get a notification that we can get free money. I debated about this for a while because I'm like, do I want my storyline to really be that I just get a bunch of money and I can just all of a sudden start, building a house or doing whatever? And I decided to take the money. Ultimately, I kind of wanted to get into the story and do less grinding of like finding resources and stuff. I actually have the ability to like start selling my cross-stitch creations. Floretta is all about building this business, right? Immediately upon getting back to home lot, I was like, listen, Floretta, we're going to do a reno. We built ourselves a cute little house. I kind of forgot the necessities of like a toilet and a shower. So I built this cutest little house with a fun little porch outside that kind of covers where the selling table is. And that's how we're going to start our store. And eventually Floretta, once she makes more money, will add on and have an actual, storefront attached to our home. Green is actually my favorite color. So this has been like a fun little thing for me to do. I love a good theme. Just getting her little setup put together and like really thinking about her style. Floretta is artsy, but she's still high maintenance. She wants things a particular way. And of course, Ian calls us while we have just finished our house and asks if he can stay with us. And I'm like, no, my friend. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's married, right? Yeah, to Bernice Robles. So, Florida is not about it. But what we are about is getting as many cross-stitch creations as we can. We have been spending a lot of time at the house doing cross-stitch when we have a nice little neighbor that shows up. Florida is definitely about building business and building relationships. So when the neighbors come by to say hello and introduce themselves, she's going to be talking to them. She is looking to build a really big, thriving business. And apparently she's got the hots for her fairy friends. That is so funny. She's also got another neighbor here to greet, and they're gonna be chit-chatting in her tiny little house, which is actually quite cute. I love seeing them in there. That's really fun. She fits so well in her house. Oh, I love it. I think as having good aesthetics in your gameplay always makes it more fun and more enjoyable to play. I always try to, make my houses cute, even if I don't have a lot of money necessarily. Sometimes I'll choose aesthetics over a toilet, for example. And this guy comes by and Victor Fang knocks my trash over. Like, what the heck, dude? Floretta was not gonna take that. She came out here, little rude introduction. For sake of storytelling purposes, she's gonna yell at him and say, listen, dude, why did you knock over my trash? You messed up my yard. This is not cool. Oh no, they're getting into a fight. But Floretta is also not a pushover, right? Like, she wants things a particular way and she is not afraid to say it. So apparently that led to this fight. Oh my word. And I think she's victorious, isn't she? That is so funny. Yeah, triumphant from fighting. That's hilarious. I love it. Yeah, she's gonna clean up her yard and she's gonna be like, dude, go away. Like, get off of my property right now. Love the spontaneity in that interaction. That was amazing. I think that's definitely gonna have to be part of the story later on. Maybe they continue to be enemies. Maybe it's her arch rival across town that has a competing business. Oh, wellness is rubbish? Absolutely not. This is another good example, right? Like, I definitely have a story arc and I definitely like it when, there's autonomy in the game and I like to follow those prompts if you're invited places or opportunities happen. But I also have a story that I'm telling and I'm doing a legacy challenge, right? And so if the options in the game aren't in alignment with my story or with my challenge, then I'm going to choose what is. And so her not liking wellness is not in alignment with this challenge. I'm going to say no to that. I got a couple hoops done and I put them up for sale. And guess who shows up first? Ian Robles. He's like the very first one here. Ooh, romantic introduction. All right, Elon. Oh, and Ian just bought the first thing on my table. No, stop. Okay, we just immediately sold the next one. Yes, I love this. She's a new business in town. She's already creating some buzz with the local residents. So my goal now is to just kind of mass make a ton of cross-stitch hoops so that we can just sell them and start making some money. And of course, as I'm finishing up my day here, I get a little notification. I'm hopelessly attracted to you. I promise I'm chill. Would you like to meet me? I think she would be like, ooh, mystery, of course. So I think, yes, we're going to. And no flipping way, you guys. Felix? Oh my gosh. I was watching someone else's Very Veggie Legacy Challenge, and Felix was the dude in that one too. So I'm not gonna fight it. I'm gonna do a romantic introduction. I'm gonna flirt a little bit with this man, see where it goes. That's so funny. He's also from like the businesses and hobbies world, so it's kind of, oh, instant attraction. But so it's kind of funny that he's like over here in Newcrest. Oh, he wants to go on a date? Let's go on a date. All right, we're gonna just do like a get to know you date. This is why I built the cafe area, because it's like a perfect little date place with lots of different activities. Been chatting quite a bit and hitting it off. Oh, and Felix hates children. Oh, and he's not. Oh my gosh. So Felix hates children, and he got the like unattracted thing above his head for Floretta. So drama. He may not be the one that lasts, let's say. She also gave him a funny gift and he did not like it. There's like a little dance area in this plaza, and so they're down here doing a little cuddling on the couch. She's definitely into Felix. Oh, new personality trait, love bug. Okay, I kind of like that for Loretta, because even though she's sassy, she's got like a very loving heart. And so I feel like if you're in, you're in. She's gonna be all lovey-dovey, but don't cross her. They're dancing together, having a great time. The date has been going really well. It's been a cute little outing, and it's been fun to like use this lot. I always like to end my dates with like an embrace or a kiss, kind of depending on where the relationship's at. And since they just met, nice little embrace goodbye is good. They haven't even had their first kiss yet. Floretta had fun, and it's been a really good time. But we're back at the house, and it's time for us to probably go to sleep since it's like super late at night. But yeah, we're just gonna finish up a little bit of food, and then she is off to bed. And that, my friends, is what, 2 days in the world of Floretta broccoli? I like to use a lot of different ways to storytell. I incorporate things that happen in the game. I also use tools like challenge rules to help structure my storytelling. And then I take all those things and I just run with it and I have fun with it. I think that this example is a good one because it's easy. Like anybody can look up a challenge rules and like build their own story from that, right? And you don't have to be so strict about it. Like that it's really important to remember that joy of like crafting a story that's your own. Thank you so incredibly much for joining me, kind of being in my brain and seeing how I tell stories. In my next video, I will be going down the thought process of how I make my Sims in CAS. If you're interested and want to catch that, make sure you hit the subscribe button and please give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed. It really helps my channel grow. I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Jasmine. Stay cozy and keep simming. Bye.